Should you invest your money in vintage or modern Pokemon products? Both have their good and both have their bad. But is one better than the other? Let's find out right after this. What is happening, everyone? My name is Mystic Fluffy. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Hope you guys are doing well wherever you guys are watching. Alrighty guys, let's get cranking into this video. So, if you had money to invest, should you invest in vintage products or should you invest in modern products? Both have their good and both have their bad, but I'll be discussing the good, the bad, and the ugly of both modern and vintage. So let's just start off with the vintage. Let's just start off with the negative, or why it's bad to invest in vintage products. So the only real reason that I can see that's really affecting your decision to invest in vintage products is that it's really out of reach and prices are just going like crazy at the moment. I mean, all the holo cards, the chase cards, and Charizard cards from base set, or Charizard from Neo Destiny, or Blastoise from base set, or Charizard or from Skyridge, or Lugia from Aquapolis. All these cards are highly sought after. They're really, really expensive now, especially since 2020, after the huge hype. And then after the hype, prices have dropped a bit, but they've picked up again. And then, is there someone willing out there to pay, $100,000 for a single graded card, PSA 9, PSA 10? I mean, I'm sure there's some that are willing to pay for, but majority of the percentage of people that are in the hobby can't really afford to pay for that, and even if they did, they'll probably have to get a loan or something, or sell off their collection to afford, or move money around from their collection to afford something that's, of a high value piece, such as a $50,000 base set booster box. So that's really the downside of it. I mean, I can't really see much else that's a negative to collecting vintage products from Pokemon. So it's really just the price tag of it. I mean, yeah, it's you can't always predict it when to sell at the highest or buy it at the lowest. But it's just really what it is. It's the price point that really puts people in a different position to turn their backs away from vintage products. I'm sure there's other factors, but that's the main reason, which is how expensive it's gotten these days, and discourages people to collect vintage stuff and then move on to other modern stuff, which is more affordable and it's more enjoyable to open as well, because modern products have some great sets. But anyways, so that's the negative of the vintage products. The good of vintage product is that there's just a limited supply of this, and especially that if there's a limited supply, people are willing to pay for it. And the good thing about it is that there's no reprints, so you can rest assured that there's no reprints for vintage stuff. Well, I haven't seen any reprints from vintage stuff, and that's a good thing, so that over time the prices for vintage stuff will go up and go up. But the thing is that even though it goes up, it's quite an exponential growth. Besides last year when it just went nuts, but usually it's like what's your products, usually it is a slow growth over time. And as time goes on, like, it's going to be pretty obvious that the prices on these will go up and go up and go up. Especially if you're holding on to sealed products will just go up and go up. Same with graded products, but as more people open up sealed products, the supply of this will diminish over time. Eventually there'll be a very select few of these, and then people that have been in the hobby for so long, especially if they collected this when they started at a young age, they quite emotionally attached to it. So people are willing to pay a premium for this to buy what they couldn't before when they were younger. So now they have money, they're working their day job, so things seem more affordable than what they used to be. And being vintage is it's really nostalgic for people. It really brings back a lot of memories, and I've seen people actually, even though they're collecting them and they're still collecting for like 10 years, 20 years, and they show it to the kids, it's very fun and memorable piece of the journey that they've had collecting throughout the beginning of when they were younger to where they are now, or where they are in the future. So it's a very enjoyable process to actually get your hands on these. And one thing I do enjoy as well is like I have a few vintage stuff, and it's nice to know that the vintage cards that you're holding has appreciated either double or triple or 10 times that, and it's a really satisfying feeling that what you have it seems to be worth that much value in the market. But so that's that. And WotC products, they're amazing, or vintage products are just simply amazing. And you know, I'm sure that if people had the money, they would actually put money. If they had money to spare, I'm sure people would invest it into vintage cards, because that's pretty much what started the Pokemon journey with the business side of things. And it's an enjoyable part to it, to be able to get your hands on vintage products, whether it's from base set, whether it's from Neo, whether it's from Skyridge or Legendary Collection or Expedition, Fossil Jungle. They're all great sets, even the EX series. I mean, what do you really call vintage? Is vintage things that have been 10 years already since they've been released? I'll kind of consider that as vintage. So, you know, your Heart Gold, Soul Silver, that could be vintage as well. Black and White, Diamond Pearl. And X and Y is slowly getting there, but give it a few years and that will be considered vintage, I would say. But so that's that with vintage products. So moving on, so we got modern products, the bad side of modern products. So with modern products, there is a lot of supply for this, and the bad thing is, depends how you look at it, there is a lot of reprints, especially sets that are in tournament play. So when they reprint those sets, then the prices of those sets will drop in value 100%, because retailers are able to sell them at retail price and people buy them, hold on to them, flip them, whatever they want to do. And yeah, this just seems like a huge supply of modern products. And the thing is, like, although people are investing in modern products and they grade the cards, there's going to be a really high population count, especially for PSA 10s, as modern products, their print quality is a lot better than the vintage cards. Well, I think so anyway. So if there's a lot of population of PSA 9s and 10s, then that would probably decrease the value or the price point of these graded cards, especially the modern products. So that's the downside of that, is that, and it's, you know, it's modern, it doesn't have that same feel to it. And so if you compare it to say there's, I don't know, 10 of, let's say, Chunky Pikachu's PSA 10 in the world versus like a base set Charizard PSA 10, not versus, just base set Charizard PSA 10 of those in the world, what holds more value? Obviously the Charizard holds more value because it's done its time and it's been in the market for, you know, 20 years, at least 20 years. So whereas Pikachu, it's been around just months, but that's what it is. So there's that's the negative of it. And yeah, so basically it's the amount of print quality or print runs and the supply of it as well. And plus, it's being it's new, it doesn't have the really incentive for people to flip it for double or triple, unless it's a really hot set and it's sold out. And that's the negative. And the positive is that, you know, it's modern, it's affordable. You know, it's not like you can't buy it. But even though in today's day, it's pretty hard to find Pokemon products in the shelves. I mean, it's pretty much snatched up instantly. That's the downside of it. But yeah, but there's a lot of supply for it. But I think Pokemon has realized that they need to start printing off more products from different sets, especially modern sets, so that kids can enjoy it and adults can enjoy it, or anyone can really enjoy it if they're into the hobby. But so as that is that. So Pokemon is still growing, and then more people are entering the hobby, which is great. And you know, it's fun to be able to open packs and share amongst your friends, your family, or whoever's into it. And yeah, there's a chance of, you know, even though they reprint it, there's a chance of grabbing more and then building your collection at an affordable price before it goes out of print, and then the new set comes in. And there's a lot of great modern products out there. I feel like the design's getting better and better, especially like the Amazing Rares from Vivid Voltage, and the Hyper Rare has been a huge hit. Because I feel like the X and Y series, Yeah, X and Y wasn't too good, besides like Flash Fire and Furious Fist and Phantom Forces. The rest of it not bad, but I feel like Sun and Moon was like probably up there. I'd say Sun and Moon's up there with the EX series, considering there's a lot of good cards, amazing chase cards, especially the Full Art Trainers and the Hyper Rares. So they're a huge blast to be able to get your hands on. And so that's that with the positive of modern products, which is affordable. So so all up, so the bad thing about, if there is anything about WotC products, is that, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, is that the grading of it's harder, but so, which is a good and bad thing how you look at it. If it's hard to grade, then there's less population for like PSA 10s and 9s, but the bad thing is that it's expensive, it's out of reach for most of us, especially the chase cards such as the rares, like Blastoise, Charizard, or anything that's like vintage from like Populous, Skyridge, those chase cards, or like Gyarados, Mewtwo from base set. So that's one of it. And the positive thing is that when you buy vintage products, you most likely see an appreciation in value as time goes on, because supply reduces and demand increases. Because the thing is, a lot of people they wait for things like, when things drop in value, they think it's not worth it, or that's the majority of people think like that, but not all. So just like with Champions Path at the moment, it's dropped in value because there's a huge print of it, but you'll see that once shops sell out of those, there's no more print of it, you'll see Champions Path just shoot up, because number one, there's the Champions Path Charizard promo in that, so that adds value, and plus the display looks awesome. It's the VMAX Charizard, and it's goldy, orangey, and it looks sweet. It's a great display piece in your collection or investment. People are after that, and I love the reflective foil of that. So that's with the vintage products. And then with the modern products, the reason why it's bad is because there's a reprint of it, and there's a lot of reprints, and then it really sort of dilutes it. But the advantage of that is that even though it's reprinted, there's a chance of getting it again, and then increasing your chances to pull something good. And another negative is because there's a better print run of quality of cards, so there'll be a high population when you submit your cards to PSA or BGS or CGC. So that's that. So overall, but it depends what you really want to do with your Pokemon cards. If you want to flip it, collect it, or invest it, I find it's really important to really enjoy what you collect. As for me, I personally wouldn't buy anything that I don't enjoy or don't like. You just steer clear from it, even if it's like hot, and that's just my personal taste on it. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you collect more modern, do you collect more vintage, or do you collect both? I personally try to collect both, but I'm more on the modern side because that's more affordable, and I'm just kind of scared that when they stop printing things, then I won't be able to get them, and even if I can get them, it'll be at a higher cost than what it was initially. So that's just my take on it. But anyways, guys, that's my time. And as always, keep safe, stay out of trouble, and I'll see you on the next one.